grade class from Mount St. Mary's, and this is the third year that we are presenting Saluting New Readers.
Hi, my name is Samuel Vogel, and I'm going to be reading Scooby-Doo and the Spooky Strikeout. Chapter 3. Shaggy and Scooby started climbing the long flight of stairs. The steps were very steep and seemed to go on forever. Like all this walking makes me hungrier, said Shaggy. There's got to be a shortcut around here. Scooby looked around. He saw a man walk out of the hidden opening beneath the next row of seats. The man was holding a big square tub in one hand, and the other hand he was waving a bag of popcorn. Popcorn! Here, the popcorn man yelled. Get your hot, fresh popcorn here. Scooby had an idea. Raggy, he barked. Follow me. Scooby walked toward the opening beneath the seats. Like where we headed, Scoob? Shaggy asked. As they got closer, another man walked through the opening. He held a tray of cups around his neck with a big red strap. Scooby, old pal, you outdone yourself this time, Shaggy said. You found the back way to the snack way. They walked through the opening and down a dark tunnel. They followed the smell of the popcorn as the path turned left, then right, then left again. Shaggy and Scooby were soon lost. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea, Shaggy said. Now we're lost and I'm hungrier than ever. What are we going to do, Scooby? What are we going to do? Scooby noticed someone standing in the shadow along the wall. Raccoon, he said. He pointed at the figure. I don't know, Scoob. Shaggy again. The figure stepped away from the wall, from his shadow outline. He looked like an umpire. Oh, it's just an umpire. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to know how the story ends, you can check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Emily Garrett, and I'm going to be reading Sister Anne's Hands. This summer I turned 7, flowers had power, peace signs were in, and we watched the Ed Sullivan Show every Sunday night. That's the summer word went around that a new teacher had come to town. One night after we'd been put to bed, Mom said in a whisper, "She'll be Anna's teacher." And Dad replied, "I don't know how a woman of her color is going to survive." Of her color, I wondered, what color could she be? Purple, green, orange? That night my dreams were full of teachers as colorful as birds. Finally the day came when I walked down to the new hall. I walked down the hall to my new room and saw her. She had on a black dress and a veil like all the other nuns, but her skin was darker than any person's I'd ever known. "And who are you, child?" she said with sparkles in her voice. "Anna Zabrocki," I answered, saying she had a space between her teeth just like me. "Mighty fine freckles you have," she said, smiling widely. "Anyone kissed by angels as much as you must have wings spreading for sure." Well, let me tell you, no one had ever connected me with angels before. I was the one they sent to the hall for talking in class, or to the principal for mouthing off. When she reached out to touch my cheek, I dodged her hand as if it was hot. It was puppy brown with white lacy moons for nails, and the palm side up, it was pink with dark lines. A light pretty pink with like an evening dress for a Barbie. I tried not to stare. She didn't seem to notice. Welcome to the second grade. I'm Sister Ann. That day to start class, Sister Ann had us tell us some of our very, very best jokes. Even the nun ones like, that what's black and white and black and white and black and white? A nun rolling down the stairs. And when she read to us at story time, she did all the voices, low or high or grunting. Then she had us counting the buttons on our clothes, pencils in our desks, and teeth in our heads. After all that adding and subtracting, we ended up toothless and pencil-rich with buttons on our underwear. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear how the story ends, you can check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Ryan Mathias, and I'm going to be reading No Tooth, No Quarter. Two tooth fairies were sitting on a branch. A small one was reading Harry Potter card. Dog tooth F, fake vampire teeth F, cracked tooth with fillings F. All F's again, she wailed. Her friend patted her on the back. Don't worry, she said to the little tooth fairy. You'll find a tooth soon. I'd bet her if I don't find a perfect tooth tonight, Queen Titina will take away my wings. I'll be grounded and I won't be able to go to the decay prevention ball. So the little tooth fairy flew off to look for a perfect tooth. Soon she came to a schoolyard where some kids were playing dodgeball. Think fast, Walter, a girl threw the ball to the boy in the middle. Walter jumped out of the way. Missed, he shouted, but as he landed, he tripped and fell over a rock. Oh dear, gasped the tooth fairy. I hope he didn't hurt himself. Look, Walter picked himself up, grinning. My tooth fell out. He held it up and then put it in his pocket. This just goes under my pillow tonight. At last, whispered the tooth fairy. This is my lucky day. I'll follow him home after school. And that's just what she did. She waited outside his house until dark. She watched the lights go out one by one. Soon there was nothing but a soft glow coming from the window. It was Walter's window. The tooth fairy flew in. She squeezed under Walter's coat and felt around. All she found was a letter. It said, Dear Tooth Fairy, today my tooth fell out. I put it in my pocket, but my pocket had a hole in it, so I lost the tooth. I hope you can leave a quarter anyway. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the story end, you can hear it on the library.
Hi, my name is Rachel Hester, and I'm going to be reading to you Dear America, the Great Railroad Race, the Diary of Libby West. May 2nd, 1868. I'm being punished again, and I've been sent to the attic. I'm crushed that Mother is so angry with me, and unhappy about sitting up here alone. That's why I welcomed the noise from outside. It sounded like a stagecoach was coming, but there were loud jangles of harnesses and many hooves. I threw open the window and leaned out to see better. Coming through the trees that shade our road was something I had not seen before. 6 mules were pulling a bright red wagon. I could read Wells Fargo and Company in golden letters along its side. And I saw Father leaning over the fence, waving his hat in excitement. I forgot my misery. The driver parked in front of the wide open doors of our barn. He was wearing a blue army cap. He must have been a Yankee like Father. First they shook hands, then began dragging 2 large crates from the back of the wagon. Right away, our horse Tipsy wandered over from her favorite spot under the apple tree. Father petted her behind her ears, then slapped her rump so she'd get out of the way. Finally, the driver's fluted father climbed back up to his seat and snapped the reins. As the wagon disappeared through the trees, father threw his hat in the air and did a jig. A jig! He must not have known I was watching. I have an unhappy feeling that when Mother comes home from the dress shop, she's going to be surprised about those curtains and mad. This reminds me, the dress shop was why I'm here. Early this morning, Mother and I walked along 3rd Avenue. We saw a pretty bonnet in the shop's front window, so we went in. There in front of the mirrors was Mrs. Cotton, standing in her corset and bloomers while being measured for a gown. She was quite large and big. When she saw me, she threw her arms out and cried, "Libby, come here, darling." She reached for my cheeks and pushed them hard, very hard. Then, leaning close to me, she asked, "Sweet child, how are you?" I rubbed my cheeks and backed away from her hot breath. I'm 14 years of age, and I do not like being pinched. "Ma'am," I said, "I feel like a horse just bit me." I didn't mean to hurt Mrs. Cotton's feelings, for she is a very dear friend of ours, but the way she straightened up her face and looked at me, then looked at Mother, I fear I did. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to find out how the story ends, you can check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Cole, and I'm going to be reading Mummies in the Morning. Chapter 1. "It's still here," said Jack. "It looks empty," said Annie. Jack and his 7-year-old sister gazed up at the very tall oak tree. At the top of the tree was a treehouse. Late morning sunlight lit the woods. It was almost time for lunch. "Shh," said Jack. What was that noise?" "What noise?" "I heard a noise," said Jack. He looked around. It sounded like something choking. "I didn't hear anything," said Amy. "Come on, let's go up." She grabbed onto the rope ladder and started climbing. Jack tiptoed over the clump of bushes. He pushed aside a small branch. "Hello," he said. "Anybody there?" There was no answer. "Come on," said Annie, called down. "The treehouse looks the same as it did yesterday." Jack still felt that something was nearby. Could it be a person who put all the books in the treehouse? Jack gazed up over the top of the bushes. Was the mysterious person watching them now? The person whose name began with the M? Maybe M wanted the gold medallion back. The one Jack found on the dinosaur adventure. Maybe M wanted the leather bookmark back. The one from the castle book. There was an M on the medallion and an M on the bookmark. What did M stand for? "Tomorrow I'll bring everything back," Jack said loudly. A breeze swept through the woods. The leaves rattled. "Come on," said Annie. Jack went back into the big oak tree. He grabbed onto the rope ladder and climbed up. At the top, he crawled through a hole in the wooden floor. He tossed down his backpack and pushed his glasses into place. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to know how this story ends, check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Gabrielle Duret, and I'm going to be reading Poppy and Ryan. Some Words Are Exchanged, Chapter 5. The day after they moved, Rye, Thistle, and Curly Dog crouched beneath the tangle of blackberry bushes and looked out over the pond. "There's one," Rye hissed. A fat beaver climbed atop a particularly large mound of sticks in the pond, not far from the dam. It was dumping and smoothing mud on the mound's surface. "That's the main lodge, Rise said with authority. Thought it was Valerian who had informed him about the fact only the day before. How do they get into it? Curly Doc asked. As the family went, Curly Doc was on the small side and rather plump like his mother. There was an underwater passageway, Rise said. You have to swim deep to get in there. Cool, murmured Thistle, tall and sleek. With swept black whiskers and narrow ears, she was a good swimmer. Come and take over everything. Look what happened to our nest. He waved his paw over the water. Gone. You did this to our nest? He waved. Thistle shrank down. I was just saying the beaver's home is interesting. Look, Curly Doc whispered. 3 beavers had surfaced near the shore. They tumbled and turned, smacking the water with their large flat tails. Big, aren't they? Thistle said with a voice away. They look like they're having fun, Curly Doc said wistfully. Fun, Rice snarled under his breath. I hate them. I'd like to give them a piece of fun. When Ragweed gets back, he'll do it, Curly Doc said. He's not afraid of anyone. Ragweed's gone, Rice snapped. Besides, he went on, Ragweed's gone. Who needs him? I'm not afraid of them. Thistle stared at her elder brother with wide eyes. You mean you talk to them? No big thing, Ryan replied. Except Ragweed wouldn't say that he would, Curly Doc said and snickered. He'd just do it. Rye felt hot. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to find out how the story ends, please check it out at your local library. Hello, my name is Anthony Damiano, and I'm reading the Huntley Series Prize. What's wrong with Mrs. Huntley? Annie asked her older brother, Ben. Annie, Ben, and their neighbor Jane were on their way to school and had stopped to pick up their friend Kilmer. At the Huntley Mirror Inn, they didn't see Kilmer, but they did see Kilmer's mother, Hilda Huntley. Hilda was sitting on the steps with her head down. Long silky white cobwebs trailed off the porch, railing onto Hilda's head, arms, and shoulders. In fact, spider webs practically covered Hilda, and a big black spider sat dangerously close to Hilda's head. Let's get the cobwebs off before that spider bites her, Jane suggested. Ben shook his head. No, that's one of Kilmer's pet spiders, he said. Minerva wouldn't hurt Mrs. Huntley. Annie knew about Kilmer's pet spider. Minerva, Winfried, and Elvira, but she still wasn't used to seeing them. Listen, Annie said, putting her finger to her lips. I think Mrs. Huntley is crying. Annie hurried up to the sidewalk. To the Huntley Mirror and porch. Jane and Ben followed her, Mrs. Huntley. Annie asked, are you all right? Hilda Huntley looked up. Annie, Hilda's hair stuck in all directions, with cobwebs laced through Kilmer's spider's Minerva was perched on the top of Hilda's mass of wild hair. Tears dripped down Hilda's chalk white face. Oh, I am so embarrassed, Hilda said in her usual accent. You caught me feeling sorry for you. For what's wrong? Jane asked. Hilda wiped a tear off her cheek, brushing her face with the cobweb from her face as she did. My birthday is this week, she admitted. Jane nodded. My mom always cries when it's her birthday. She hates getting old. Hilda looked surprised. I do not. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to find how the story ends, check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Samantha Jackson, and I will be reading Samantha Saves the Day. Chapter 1, Penny Point. Toot-oot, with a cheerful blast of its whistle, the little steamboat chugged across Goose Lake towards Samantha, its snappy red and white awning flapped in the breeze. Samantha skipped on her tippy toes at the end of the dock, waving both arms wildly to welcome the boat and its passengers. Yahoo! Hello, she called. Agnes, Agatha, hello! As the boat came closer, Samantha could see Agnes and Agatha standing on the deck, waving hello to her. Their red curls were as bright as poppies. In the sunshine, the twins were coming to stay at Penny Point, Grandmary's summer home in the mountains. Uncle Card and Aunt Cornelia were with them, and so was Admiral Archibald Bemis. He came all the way from England every summer to visit Grandmary. Samantha danced with excitement. It was wonderful to have all of her favorite people together at her favorite place in the world. The world, they would be just like a big happy family. The boat pulled up to the dock and Agnes and Agatha jumped ashore. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to know how the story ends, check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Chris Shapirski, and I'm going to be reading The Adventures of Captain Underpants. Chapter 14, The Big Bang. After their quick escape, George, Harold, and Captain Underpants stopped on a deserted street corner to catch their breath. Okay, said George, let's de-hypnotize them quick before something else kaboom happens. A huge explosion came from the rare crystal shop across the street. Heavy smoke poured out of the building. Suddenly, two robots with one swollen crystal emerged from the smoke and jumped into an old van. Did I just see two robots get into the van? Asked Harold. You know, said George. Up until now, this story was almost believable. Well, believe it or not, said Harold, we're not getting involved. I repeat, we are not getting involved. Just then, Captain Underpants leaped from the street corner and dashed in front of the van. Stop! In the name of underwear, he cried. Uh-oh, said George, I think we're involved. The two robots started up the van and swerved around Captain Underpants. Unfortunately, the van brushed against his red cape and it got caught. With a mighty jerk, Captain Underpants was flipped backwards and the van pulled him along as it drove away. Grab him, cried George. The two boys skateboarded with all their might toward the speeding van and grabbed him. Grabbed Captain Underpants by the ankles. Help! They cried as the van pulled them through the city streets. Mommy, said the little boy sitting on a bench. I just saw two robots driving a van with the guy's underwear hanging off the back by a red cape, pulling two boys on skateboards behind them with his feet. How do you expect me to believe such a ridiculous story? Asked his mother. Finally, the van came to a screeching halt in front of an old abandoned warehouse. Suddenly, it stopped, made Captain Underpants flip over the roof and crashed through the front of the door of the building. Well, 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 said a strange voice from the warehouse. It looks as if we have a visitor. Thank you for sharing your time with me. If you want to find out how this story ends, you can check it out at your local library. Hi, my name is Trace Bernardi, and the book I'm reading is Dear America, dreams of the golden country. September 1st, 1903, New York, Ellis Island. I am sitting here on the wood suitcase, the one with the metal straps. Mama says I am too heavy to rest on the wicker one. It seems as if we have been in this baggage room forever, although it has only been 2 hours since we got off the boat. My older sister Tova says to get used to it. It takes a long time to get processed. I am not sure what this word means. I know when you enter life you are born, but when you enter America you are processed here at Ellis Island. It has something to do with all the papers Mama carries with her. It also has to do with It also has a lot to do with waiting. Tova finds out a lot, for she roams all over this place. She is very nosy. She picks up gossip. She brings back scary stories about something called inspection that they will do to us in the next round. If we fail in inspection, we can be detained, made to wait, or even get sent back. And then when shall we ever see Papa again? It has been nearly 2 years since we have seen him. He came to America before us to make enough money to buy our tickets on the ship. Every month he went to the draft and passage office and exchanged his American money for the 10 rubles that he sent to us. Our steerage voyage from Hamburg to New York. That is where the boat left from Hamburg, Germany. But first, we had to travel to there, for we are from Missouri, a little village in March. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hang out how the story ends, check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Courtney Alex, and the book I'm reading is 6th grade Camille Kelly. Chapter 1, Bad Helen. Oh, Helen, my mother complained. You're not going to wear those denim pants the first day of school, are you? Why not? I said. They're clean. Let's see if I can find something prettier. How about the yellow skirt Grandma made you? Forget it, I told her, heading for the bathroom. It's sunny out, and I'm not playing baseball in a skirt. She followed after me. Stop at the doorway to watch me comb my hair. Curl it a little more by your ears. I put down the comb. She took it up. Here, let me. Mother! Well, Liza mentally wears her hairbrush for a word. I'm not Lisa mentally, I'm Helen. But you have those big brown eyes just like her. You should show them off. She moved toward me again, but Dad hollered from the living room. I'm leaving. She dropped the comb and hurried downstairs. I stared back to my bedroom, thought a minute, and then turned toward my parents' bedroom. I stood in the middle of the floor, letting my eyes search over the dresser, the bed, the swing basket. They should have something. I opened the basket, picked out one of the smallest spools of thread. I dropped it down in the front of the blouse into my bra. Mother came puffing back upstairs as I reached the hall. What are you doing in there? She said sharply. Not much. I could tell she wanted to pat down my clothes the way her hand fluttered out to me when her chin. Helen, this is a brand new school year. I just know this is going to be a good one. How? I asked her. I'm still done, you know. She stayed on my heels as I got Peachy and my purse off the desk and went down to the front door. When I stretched to kiss her goodbye, she was busy telling me what
that she didn't want to hear me say I was dumb because I was not dumb. Walking down the sidewalk toward Louise's house, I tried as hard as I could to keep the sickening dread to my stomach from climbing up the throat. Thank you for listening to me. If you want to find out how the story ends, please check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Matthew Conahan, and I'm going to read Scooter Radiant by Tim O'Shea and Kara Narodsky. Chapter 1, Introduction. What is that thing? Back in 1993, that's what everybody was asking when Say Hart's Draco went gliding by on his way to work. Why, they wondered, was a 39-year-old engineer riding on a contraption that looked like it was made out of tin cans? Everyone laughed at me then, Say Hart would say years later. They laughed themselves silly. Nobody's laughing now. Say Hart's simple invention, an aluminum plate fixed with skateboard wheels and an extra long handlebar, was made because he wanted to find a quicker way to get to his office every day. Parking spaces for cars were hard to come by, and taking the train meant getting up way too early. Say Hart kept thinking with his vehicle, improving it so the front wheels could steer left and right. In 1995, he won a silver medal at an invention convention in Europe. By that time, other people wanted to ride these things too. When they asked Say Hart the big question, what is that thing? He answered simple, it's a scooter, a small, faster, cooler way than anybody has ever come up with before. Once some bicycle and manufactured toys saw the scooter, you can probably guess what happened next. Scooters became a craze overseas, and by the summer of 2000, we were gliding all around America. No longer do people ask, what is that thing? Instead they ask, hey, where can I get one too? Chapter 1, Buyer's Guide. Most people probably think a scooter as a skateboard with a handlebar. True, many scooters look exactly like that. But the scooter looks like is really a giant bicycle without pedals. Some appear to be props straight out of the science fiction movie. More than 40 different kinds of scooters are available today. You can spend anywhere just under 60 to well over 1,000. Most scooters are human operated by kicking, called push scooters. But several of the electrical powered battery are a few even run on gasoline. Is it better to own a kick scooter or a motorized version? That depends on what you need. They are really two different types of vehicles. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear how the story ends, you can check it out at your local library.
Of all things, grumbled Chester, why on earth did I have to be a pig? A pig is no better off than cabbage or a carrot, just something to eat. Before I end up as so much as sausage and ham, I intend to try and amount to something, but what else could a pig ever be? That was Chester's main problem, and he turned this around and around in his head until one day it suddenly came to him, I'll be a star in the circus. What gives Chester such an outlandish idea was a circus poster which appeared on the barn wall one sunny morning in May. And what caught the little pig's eye was the seal with the ball balanced on the tip of its nose. Nose, Chester said Chester. That's the thing. Surely my fat pig's snout must be good for something. And he searched the pig's pen for an idea. There's only a trough, a fence, and a mud puddle. The trough is much too cumbersome, he decided, and I can't very well balance a fence or a mud puddle on my nose, so I'll have to work the other way around. I'll bounce my nose on something on the flat top of the fence post. Anyone knows a pig can't climb, but Chester couldn't let this bit of useless knowledge pull him down. With a slight boost from an overturned bucket, he struggled up the side of the fence until he was finally perched on the top rail. Now came the tricky part. Placing his snout squarely on this post, he carefully raised one hind leg in the air. Thank you for listening to me. If you want to know how this story ends, you can check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Patrick Neal, and today I'll be reading Boone's Lick. Chapter 13. People think Bill Hickok can't miss, but he can miss. Uncle Seth said we were walking to Boone's Lick. Ma had sent me off to the dry goods store to get a thimble. She was always losing thimbles. Was that baby, Marcy, was swallowing them. Though we could never catch her at it. When he saw me leaving, Uncle Seth fell in with me. Although he had no particular none that he mentioned to me. Anyway, people think Bill Hickok always gets his man, but he don't. He went on. The thought of Mr. Hickok's big reputation seemed to irritate him for some reason. Look at what happened when he took off after little Billy Perkins. Uncle Seth reminded me it was clear in a minute that little Billy had the faster mouth, but would Bill quit? Not him. Little Billy swam the Missouri River twice and then headed west. He outran Bill all the way to the Smoky Hill River, which is in Kansas, and Bill still didn't get him. They say Bill Hickok wore out 3 horses before he admitted defeat. I think Uncle Seth meant to leave me at the dry goods store to purchase my thimble. While he went on to the salon, which was only 3 doors away. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the rest of this story, check it out at your local library.
What's groovy?
Reading!
And what do you love?
Reading!
Where do you go to school?
Mount St. Mary's!
And what grade are you in?
3rd!
Hip hip hooray!